What if you're not just struggling, but sleepwalking toward disaster, and you don't even know it? Nietzsche warned, "The greatest threat to your life isn't outside you, but within. If you miss these 10 hidden disorders, you might never get a second chance. Watch closely, because every single one could change the path of your life." We like to think we know ourselves. We believe our choices are our own, that our habits are harmless, and that the real dangers are out there in the world. But Nietzsche, the great philosopher of the will, saw things differently. He believed that most people are ruled by invisible forces within, mental disorders of spirit, emotion, and mind that shape every decision. Not all are medical or clinical. Some are just ways of thinking, feeling, or acting that quietly destroy everything you care about. You can't fix what you don't see. That's why these hidden disorders are so deadly. They don't show up in blood tests. They don't always have names. But they show up in your choices, your relationships, your dreams, and your regrets. Nietzsche's urgent warning: if you don't spot these patterns now, you'll wake up one day and realize you lost your life to them. It's easy to spot problems in others, but nearly impossible to see them in yourself. You get used to the way you think. You make excuses for your moods, your procrastination, your fears. You call it just the way I am. But as Nietzsche wrote, sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. We build stories to protect ourselves. We deny, we distract, we blame others. But the cost is enormous. Years lost, dreams faded, potential wasted. The first step to changing your life is the hardest, admitting you might not see yourself clearly. It takes courage to look in the mirror and ask, what's really holding me back? If you're here, you're already braver than most, because most people will never face the real disorders shaping their destiny. Disorder number 1, the self-deceiver. The most dangerous disorder isn't a disease, but a habit, lying to yourself. Nietzsche believed self-deception is the root of all misery. It's the voice that says, "I'm fine," when you're falling apart. It's the habit of telling yourself you don't care when you do. It's ignoring the obvious because the truth feels scary. Self-deceivers never admit weakness. They pretend, they perform, they avoid hard questions. But deep down, they're lost, and the world can spot it, even when they can't. Why it matters? You can't change a lie. If you don't face reality, you'll never escape it. The longer you lie to yourself, the more trapped you become. Nietzsche's solution: brutal honesty about your fears, your flaws, your limits. He wrote, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster." You must be willing to see your own monsters first. Disorder number 2, the meaningless drifter. Do you ever feel like your days blur together? You go through the motions: work, eat, sleep, repeat. But there's no fire, no mission, no meaning. Nietzsche warned, he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. When you lose your why, you become a drifter. You chase distractions, waste time, and secretly envy those who seem driven by something deeper. Why it matters. A life without meaning isn't just boring. It's dangerous. The meaningless drifter is easily controlled, manipulated, and broken by setbacks. The antidote: you must find or create a purpose worth suffering for. Nietzsche believed every life needs struggle, but only if that struggle is for something real. Disorder number 3, the chronic pleaser. This is the disorder of always needing approval, never wanting to upset anyone, always saying yes when you mean no. You measure your worth by other people's smiles and stay silent to keep the peace. Nietzsche saw this as a quiet kind of self-betrayal. He wrote, "Become who you are, but chronic pleasers become who everyone else wants them to be. Why it matters, if you always bend to others, you lose yourself. You wake up one day with no boundaries, no voice, and no real relationships. Just a long list of fake smiles and silent resentment. The way out? Dare to disappoint. Say no. Honor your truth, even when it's uncomfortable." Disorder number 4, the comfort addict. There's nothing wrong with rest or pleasure, but Nietzsche warned that a life built on comfort soon becomes a prison. The comfort addict fears pain, avoids risk, and chooses easy over meaningful every time. This person always takes the safe path, never tries anything new, and spends more time escaping than creating. Why it matters? Comfort feels safe, but it kills growth. Over time, your world shrinks, your confidence fades, and your dreams disappear into routine. Nietzsche's antidote: seek challenge. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Only by risking failure do you discover your real strength. Disorder number 5, the bitter blamer. This disorder is everywhere. The person who's always angry, always blaming others, always finding reasons why life isn't fair. Nietzsche saw bitterness as a kind of poison. Blamers turn every setback into a story about how the world is against them. But this story traps them in victimhood and makes real change impossible. Why it matters: blame feels powerful, but it makes you powerless. It protects your ego, but costs you your future. The cure: radical responsibility. Own your choices, your mistakes, and your power to respond. Only then can you escape the prison of blame. Why this matters now? You might see yourself in some of these patterns. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're finally seeing the truth. Most people go their whole lives without ever noticing these invisible disorders. Nietzsche's warning is clear. If you want to save your life, you must spot these patterns before they become your fate. In the next part, we'll reveal the next set of disorders, the ones that quietly sabotage your dreams, relationships, and sense of self. Don't look away now. The next one could be the very thing holding you back from everything you want. If you recognized yourself in any of those patterns, know this: you're not alone. Most people carry at least one of these hidden disorders through life, sometimes all of them at different stages. Nietzsche's genius was in seeing these not as flaws, but as warning signals. They aren't proof you're broken, but invitations to finally wake up. Ignore them, and you drift farther from yourself. Face them, and you unlock the possibility of transformation. We've seen the self-deceiver, the drifter, the chronic pleaser, the comfort addict, and the bitter blamer. But there's more. Some of the most dangerous patterns are so common, they almost feel normal. That's why they're deadly. Disorder number 6, the resentful comparer. This disorder is fueled by envy, the constant feeling that others are ahead, more successful, happier, luckier. You scroll through feeds and see proof that you're behind. You measure your value by someone else's highlight reel. Nietzsche saw comparison as a form of self-destruction. It poisons gratitude, breeds endless dissatisfaction, and makes you a stranger in your own life. Resentful comparers can't celebrate others. They secretly wish for others to fail, because every victory elsewhere feels like a personal loss. Why it matters. Living this way steals joy from every achievement. Even when you win, it never feels like enough. You become trapped in a cycle, never content, always hungry for more, never truly at peace. Nietzsche's solution: stop comparing. Start creating. Shift focus from others' paths to your own. Compete with yesterday's self, not the world. Disorder number 7. The eternal procrastinator. This one's familiar to almost everyone. You know what you need to do. You know what matters. But you delay, distract, and wait for the perfect time that never comes. Nietzsche saw procrastination not as laziness, but as a form of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, even fear of your own potential. The eternal procrastinator chooses comfort now over growth later, but pays with regret. Why it matters. Every dream dies in delay. You can lose decades to hesitation, convincing yourself you're preparing when you're actually just stalling. The way out. Start before you're ready. Accept imperfection as part of the process. Action breeds clarity. Inaction breeds anxiety. Disorder number 8. The cynical doubter. This is the person who never believes, never hopes, never risks. They hide behind skepticism, criticizing every idea, mocking optimism, and laughing at hope. Nietzsche wrote, "He who despises himself still respects himself as one who despises." Cynicism feels like wisdom, but it's really self-protection, a shield against disappointment. Why it matters. Cynical doubters never build anything. They never dare, never trust, never try. They confuse fear with intelligence and call it realism. Nietzsche's challenge: dare to hope. Try anyway. Let yourself want things, even if it means risking heartbreak. Disorder number 9. The perfectionist prisoner. This disorder wears the mask of ambition. Perfectionists want to get it right, every detail, every step, every result. But underneath is terror, fear of making a mistake, fear of looking foolish, fear of not being enough. Nietzsche believed that perfectionism is the enemy of becoming. You never start because it's never good enough. You quit early, afraid of failure. You miss opportunities because you're waiting for a guarantee. Why it matters. Life is not a test you can ace. It's a journey of experiments, setbacks, and growth. Nietzsche's wisdom: embrace the mess. You learn by doing, not by perfect planning. Disorder number 10, the passive bystander. This is the deadliest of all. The bystander never chooses, never acts, never claims responsibility. They let life happen to them, always watching, never participating. Nietzsche saw this as the tragedy of the unlived life. Bystanders don't make mistakes, but they never make anything else either. They live in other people's stories, following, drifting, waiting for permission. Why it matters. Passivity guarantees regret. You can avoid risk, pain, and rejection, but you also avoid meaning, joy, and true connection. Nietzsche's call: act, choose. Shape your world, even if you fail sometimes. Only those who dare to act ever discover who they really are. By now, you've seen the full list. 10 hidden disorders that quietly shape your life, your choices, your fate. Nietzsche's warning is clear. Spot them, or be ruled by them. Face them, or let them steal your years. You might be tempted to deny, to say, "Not me." But the bravest thing you can do is look honestly at yourself. Which of these disorders is running your life right now? Which have you secretly accepted, telling yourself, "It's just who I am"? You're not alone. Every person alive struggles with these at some point. But not every person wakes up. Nietzsche's urgent wake-up call. Here's the truth Nietzsche knew. You don't have forever. Every day you ignore these patterns is a day you give away. Time, energy, dreams, and chances that may never return. He wrote, "Become who you are." That's not a gentle suggestion. It's an urgent challenge. Because the cost of waiting isn't just wasted time, it's a life unlived, a self undiscovered. What happens if you do nothing? Let's imagine. You keep drifting. You keep pleasing. You keep comparing, delaying, doubting, blaming. You stay safe. You never risk. You never fail. But you also never find out what you're really capable of. You never feel alive in your own story. One day, you'll look back and realize the life you wanted passed you by. One small, invisible disorder at a time. The door to change. Here's the good news. Awareness is power. If you can spot these patterns, you can change them. It starts with honesty. It grows with action. You don't have to fix everything at once. Pick one disorder. Name it. Face it. Then take one small step in a new direction. You'll be amazed how quickly life changes when you stop running from the truth. Stay with me. The real work starts now. In the final part, you'll discover the master key Nietzsche believed could break the spell of these hidden disorders for good. If you've ever wondered how to finally escape these cycles and live a life you're proud of, don't miss what's next. The last disorder may be the one you never expected. Beyond disorder, the master key to freedom. So you've faced the list, the self-deceiver, the drifter, the pleaser, the comfort addict, the blamer, the comparer, the procrastinator, the cynic, the perfectionist, the bystander. If you're still watching, it means you're different. Most people turn away when the mirror gets too clear. You didn't. That alone is the beginning of transformation. But here's Nietzsche's final warning. Spotting the problem isn't enough. Knowing what's wrong is just the first doorway. The real battle is fought in what you do next. The hidden 11th disorder, the watcher who never moves. Nietzsche believed the greatest danger isn't to be broken, but to be awake and still refuse to change. Many people collect wisdom, read self-help, watch videos, and nod along, yet stay exactly the same. He called this the sickness of the last man, the one who sees the mountain, but never climbs. This person becomes a spectator in their own life, always learning, never doing. Why it matters. If you stop at awareness, nothing changes. Your potential remains a fantasy, your life a someday story. The cure. Action. Even a small, imperfect step. Nietzsche wrote, "He who cannot command himself must obey." The only real freedom is the power to move, to act, to choose, even in uncertainty. Transformation is a choice. By now, you might be wondering, where do I even start? With so many disorders, so many years of habits, how do you break free? Nietzsche's answer is both brutal and liberating. You start where you are. You don't need a total life overhaul. You need to pick the one disorder holding you back most right now and challenge it. Maybe today you stop lying to yourself. Maybe you take a risk instead of seeking comfort. Maybe you say no to someone else's script or yes to your own dream for the first time in years. Each act of honesty and courage is a rebellion against your old self, a declaration that you refuse to remain a passive bystander in your own life. Why most people never change. Let's be honest, most people don't change, not because they can't, but because they're afraid of what happens if they do. Growth means leaving comfort. It means risking the unknown, losing approval, and sometimes failing. Nietzsche saw comfort as the ultimate enemy of greatness. He believed the higher person is forged in struggle, not safety. If you're willing to embrace discomfort, to move through awkwardness and doubt, you open the door to everything you want. Question for you: what scares you most about changing? Where do you feel that resistance in your body? Type it in the comments. Even writing it out can be the first step to taking its power away. Here's something Nietzsche never had, but you do. A community of people all trying to wake up. If you felt seen by this video or spotted a disorder you want to break free from, share it below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you want more truth, more raw philosophy, and more of the wisdom most people are too afraid to face, subscribe now. We're building a space for those who want to live awake, not just exist. Join us, and share this with someone you care about, because you never know who's secretly struggling behind a mask. Facing the final enemy, the fear of becoming yourself. Nietzsche called it the greatest risk. To dare to become who you truly are, not just who the world taught you to be. Most people hide from this risk all their lives, fearing that if they drop their disorders, they'll lose their identity. But the truth is, what you lose is only the false self, the shell you built to survive. When you face your hidden disorders and act anyway, you don't lose yourself. You find yourself. You discover that your power was never in pleasing, drifting, comparing, blaming, or hiding. Your power is in your ability to create, to shape, to choose your own way forward, even if it means making mistakes along the way. Nietzsche's final challenge: will you answer? There's no perfect moment to change. There's only now. If you wait for the world to give you permission, you'll wait forever. Nietzsche wrote, "No price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself." If you've made it this far, you've already paid with your time and attention. Don't waste that investment. Take one step, however small, in a new direction today. Which disorder will you challenge first? How will you act differently, starting now? Leave your answer in the comments and subscribe if you want to keep breaking free with us. A final word for those who still doubt. It's tempting to think, maybe I'm too far gone. Maybe change isn't possible for me. But Nietzsche's philosophy is brutal, yes, but it's also hopeful. He believed in the will to power, the deep, often hidden force in every person to grow, overcome, and create something new. You have that force. You wouldn't have watched this far if you didn't. So save your life. Start small, but start. The disorders lose their power the moment you act. And when you look back, you'll realize this was the moment your story began to change.